In June 2025, electricity bills in New Jersey jumped 20% overnight. There were no heat waves or fuel shortages to explain it. The increase simply arrived. In Manassas, Virginia, John Steinbach saw his monthly bill go from $100 to nearly $300. Typically, price surges of this scale follow a natural disaster or a spike in global energy prices. Neither occurred during this period. These localized financial shocks point toward a systemic alteration to the physical hardware of the American grid. Since 2020, U.S. residential electricity prices have increased by 25%. During that same four-year window, commercial electricity prices rose by 3%, despite that sector driving all the growth in demand. This gap is even more pronounced in local markets like Oregon, where residential rates climbed 4 times faster than commercial ones. This disparity is a direct byproduct of a $600 billion investment in AI data centers. Big tech is currently building the most expensive infrastructure the U.S. grid has ever seen in a generation. The result is a paradox. The people financing the physical expansion of the AI era are the ones who use the technology the least. Northern Virginia's Data Center Alley is the physical center of this expansion, routing 70% of all global internet traffic. These facilities now consume up to 40% of Virginia's entire electricity supply, and that demand is projected to double within 15 years. Moving that much power to a single site requires a massive build-out of new transmission lines and generation capacity. When a data center connects to the grid, the local utility is required to build the substations and high-voltage lines needed to support it. A single hyperscale AI facility creates the same immediate infrastructure demand as an entire small city. It is logical to assume the company that triggers the need for a new billion-dollar power line is the one that pays for it. But most utilities operate under a rate-based model, a regulatory pool where the costs of new grid infrastructure are collected. Once a cost enters the rate base, the utility can recover it from all customers, rather than just the one requiring the upgrade. This creates a unique burden for residential customers. Unlike a corporation, a family living in a utility monopoly cannot switch providers or negotiate their rates. Texas provides an alternative model. Because its market is deregulated and competitive, consumers can switch providers when rates rise. This competition has kept residential bills stable despite massive data center growth. The current shifting of multi-billion-dollar tech costs onto citizens is a specific regulatory design choice. Future forecasts suggest the pressure on the grid is only beginning. The EIA predicts residential electricity prices could rise by 40% by 2030. Data centers are expected to consume 12% of all U.S. electricity by then, nearly tripling their current footprint. This creates a dangerous mismatch between the speed of technology and the speed of the grid. AI models iterate in months, but the infrastructure to power them requires decades of planning and investment. The current spike in residential bills is the opening phase of a much larger wave of forced infrastructure spending. While tech companies have signed voluntary pledges to protect residential bills, these documents lack any legal enforcement or financial penalties for noncompliance. State-level resistance is becoming more concrete. Oregon is moving toward laws that force data centers to pay for their own grid strain, while Maine has enacted a moratorium on new construction. AI provides diffuse, long-term benefits to the global economy, but its physical costs are concentrated immediately on the people who live near the server farms. Until the regulatory structure is redesigned, the American homeowner will remain the primary financier of the physical AI revolution.
This is Market Truths. Clear analysis of markets, technology, and power.